and from the various Tibet offices to let me speak in their place ahead of them. Really, I should let them speak first. But anyway, I'm just here to congratulate you all for standing up and proving to the world in your own way that Tibet is free in its heart. Tibet is free already, as you people here free in the world. Unfortunately, Tibet is not free inside Tibet in its own country, and that is what must be rectified and will be rectified within the life of this long life of this 14th great Dalai Lama of Tibet. Tibet will definitely be free inside Tibet, whatever you want to call it. Whether you want to call it autonomy or independence or freedom, whatever you call it, if Tibet is free in Tibet and Chinese settlers have gone back down to where they can breathe the air freely instead of having only half the oxygen that they need and getting heart disease in order to own land, then in that time Tibet will be free in itself. So I just have one or two brief things to share, but I do want to share one thing about Tibet, which is amazing and shows that you truly are the people who are keeping alive on this planet the great teaching and the world-saving teaching, actually, of Shakyamuni Buddha. On this miracle day, 2,500 years or so ago, which you celebrate in Tibet on March 5th, this year of the full moon, Chodul Chembu Dutulia, Shakyamuni Buddha was facing his father, who asked him to give some teaching, and he performed a miracle, what people thought was impossible. And what he did was, he knew that the father was upset with him, even though he was Buddha, because the father had wanted him to conquer the whole world as a king. You know, Father, what is this Buddha business? We don't know about that. We want to be kings. We want to own the whole world. We want to be emperor. And Buddha could have been emperor. Remember the prophecy. All of you know the story. So what Buddha did was, out of his own heart came two Buddhas, and they came two Buddhas, and Buddha, like that, like a special effect in a sci-fi movie. And suddenly everyone present saw Buddhas in every atom of the universe, everywhere. And the father was happy. Finally, Buddha said to him, "Well, Dad, I'm sorry that I didn't conquer the world for you like a good son, good king's son would have, but I'm sort of all over the world, wouldn't you say?" And the father had to agree because he saw Buddha everywhere, multiplied in every atom. So the Tibetan people have, years ago, 1,000 years ago, more than 1,000 years ago, you were a big empire. And you conquered a lot of Chinese people, Indian people, Muslim people, all kinds of people, and actually beat them up and made them very unhappy. You had a big empire. And then you decided that there was no fun conquering other people, kind of boring, you get tired beating them up, and they don't like you. And it was better to be enlightened and be happy and be nice with your family and listen to your wife and listen to and bring up your children to have a good life. So you gave up that empire, actually, voluntarily in a way, unconsciously but voluntarily. So now Tibet has been destroyed by Chinese invasion. We celebrate now, sadly, this 56th year of the uprising when the Tibetans showed their determination to protect their Dalai Lama, which is the core heart of their culture, His Holiness, the presence of Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva of great compassion as a human being, core of the culture. To protect it, they rose up against our army, and thousands and tens of thousands were slaughtered. And after that, so many died. It's terrible what happened. And now they've reached a point in Tibet where they are so oppressed and so crushed by the horrible policies of the United Front Work Department of the Chinese government that many people burn themselves alive to show that life is not worth living under such kind of oppression. But even in doing that, they show the Dharma, because they don't do suicide bombing. They didn't kill other Chinese. They just gave their own body to show people that they were still free in their heart. And they were free, but they're not going to you can't kill me because I'm going to kill myself. That's a way of showing freedom under the most severe, unimaginable, inconceivable oppression, which is what they are suffering, and it is having an impact around the world. And it is agitating the leaders of China. They can't sleep at night because of it. But the stupid ones are cracking down even harder instead of going the other direction. So you people were crushed, your country, but yet you are all over the world. And this is now the hopeful part of what I wanted to say. Everybody, the people in the world support you, your freedom, your dharma, not necessarily under the name of Buddhism, that's not going to conquer the world, but under the name of controlling yourself, being kind, liberation of women, honoring of children, not taking slaves, being happy, being cheerful, having a good time. The world is ready, it embraces and supports you, the people of this world. I even have a friend who runs a hotel, and he has a lot of Chinese guests somewhere, I won't say who, but he meets them and he says that they tell him, all of them have told him, that underground in China there is a massive popular support for Tibet. The Chinese people really want to preserve Tibet, its purity, its beauty, the freedom of its people, the happiness of its people, and they love the Dalai Lama also, and they consider Dalai Lama to be something like their Nobel Prize laureate. The Chinese people do, but they don't dare say that, because they're still under this structure of oppression, of industrial oppression. But they all support. All our people in America support. If our government did what we want them to do, they would have long ago stopped trading with China. They would have put genuine pressure on China, real pressure, not just some words. They would have put real pressure on them to respect your rights, respect your land, respect your environment, and treat you like the jewel of Asia, the Switzerland of Asia that Tibet is going to be, that Tibet is, when these people stop ruining it stupidly. So I just want to convey the hope that you're like the little Shakyamuni Buddhas in the atoms. Not that all of you are necessarily enlightened, but you have a culture that makes you live nearby to enlightenment, which is the absolute heart of what you have to preserve. And that culture makes you not destructive to others, and it gives you ability to control yourselves and not be angry and not be divided one among each other, and be friendly to people, and that's why everybody likes you in the world. So your fight for liberation is not being angry, not hating even the Chinese government, the poor, pathetic people. People who oppress other people, they die and they go live in a very bad place. They have a really hard time. Nobody gets out of the bad deeds that they do just by dying. Everybody lives again. There's nobody stays dead. People live again, and then they suffer the consequences of their bad actions. And that is a scientific fact, not just a religious belief, whether or not regular scientists understand it yet. So your fight for freedom is preserve your culture. We are very happy at Tibet House. We gave what we could to you over the years, something like $150,000, not enough, but something to build your center in Queens, your culture center, where your children can learn how to still be Tibetan, even here in America, even in the schools speaking English, and learn their language, and learn Buddhism, learn the Dharma. The Dharma doesn't just mean I'm a Buddhist. The Dharma means that you're happy, you're nice and kind to others, and you don't hate even your enemies. That's what it means. But you fight against them, you struggle against them, you speak strongly against them, you try to help correct their ways, but you don't hate them. You don't poison yourself with resentment and hate. So this is what I want to congratulate you all for being here. I'm sorry many more of my countrymen, and not even hundreds of thousands, should be here, but in their hearts they do support you. I want you to know. All the people of this world support you. The problem is that the governments of this world, due to the power of money and technology, although they call themselves democracy, they don't really do what the people want. And so that has to change, and that will slowly change, I am confident. And final thing, Mr. Xi Jinping's father, you all know, was very friendly to His Holiness when His Holiness was 19 years old in China in 1954. And President Xi Jinping, I believe, even though he's like a tough guy, and he's a big, powerful guy now, I believe he will talk to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and he will make the change. And that's what we all call, all the people of the world are calling him, and people like Obama and the Europeans and the Japanese and Putin. I don't know, he has a little hearing problem, but Mr. Putin is trying to be an emperor again. But otherwise, everybody's ready. The Dalai Lama, your Dalai Lama is the world leader of all world leaders. And as long as you keep him in your heart, you will find the freedom that you're looking for. And last tiny point, nowadays, the Dogel followers are very angry with him and me. Actually, I'm very honored that I have become a puppet of the Dalai Lama. I'm his puppet. Oh, I'm very proud. I wish I was, but I'm very proud of that. I feel honored about that. And I'm very annoyed with them for showing this kind of ugly thing as if it was mainstream part of Tibetan culture. Very unhappy. However, I think it's most important, whatever they demonstrate against His Holiness, never show violence to them. Do not hate them. Do your own demonstration showing how much you love His Holiness next door, and there are more of you, and they will fade away. But never show violence. What they want is for you to show violence to them. In that case, then they would put that on the internet everywhere and spoil people's view of your culture, which is so beautiful. All right? Thank you very much. And freedom for it's here now, and you keep it alive. And I thank you for the whole world's people. I thank you. Bye.
这些钱呢，我的。